What's going on, everybody? It's your man C Dougie. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year to everybody. Um, we are back. Hopefully, everybody's 2023 ended very well. Hopefully, everybody had happy holidays. This is our first NFL takes going into 2024 with the last the games going for the regular season in the NFL. Man, have a full panel with us tonight. Got a definitely couple people that I call brothers, couple people I call family, people that have been on this journey with us on YouTube. So tonight is going to be very impactful. It's going to be a very good show. So, like we say in our comments, sit back, kick your feet up, get your favorite drink, get your favorite snack, and enjoy the show. Tonight we have my co-host Uncle Quan with us, our new co-host as well, AJ with All Pro Sports Talk. One of our brothers that has done work with us and doing some things with us going in the future. CJ from Two Fans in the Stands. And I can't forget about my guy, Demetrius from PPP, man. So you guys go ahead and come off mute, tell the chat and tell the channel what's going on. Hopefully you guys had a good holidays. And let's go ahead and get into the show.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hey, this is Demetrius with the PPP, man. So happy to be here, man, and ready for this amazing discussion, man. Happy New Year to everybody. Can't wait for us to get into it. It's going to be good, man.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Y'all already know what's going on, man. It's your boy Q, a.k.a. Uncle Quan. Happy to be back on here, man. Let's get into it, man.
What's good, everybody? It's your favorite armchair GM CJ from Two Fans in the Stands. Happy New Year, and let's get this thing going.
What's going on with it, y'all? It's your boy AJ from All Pro Sports Talk. I'm just grateful to be part of the panel right now. Let's get things going. Hope every single last one of y'all had a good holidays and a happy New Year.
Yes, sir, man.
Hey, hold. Did you say be your best armchair GM? Did you just say that?
Yeah, I'm everybody's favorite armchair GM. That's why I like to think. You know, that give me a little bit of motivation. You know, till somebody cuss me out, say I don't know nothing, then I might have to come up with something else.
All right, we got a couple people in the chat. Shout out to my bit Sarge, kicking it with Coons. Definitely appreciate you pulling up, man. Definitely appreciate DJ Spence pulling up as well. Corbin Rogers, definitely appreciate that, man. Yeah, like I said, we went to a lot of games this year. Definitely enjoyed it. Looking forward to 2024 training camp and also in the regular season, man. Also, we are fully monetized now. So if you guys want to super chats, if you guys we don't do cash apps or anything, but any super chats, super stickers or anything, we'll definitely shout them out and definitely read you guys comment throughout the panel if you guys have any questions with us going throughout the show tonight. So the fellas on the panel definitely know the topics that we're going to go into. We're going to go ahead and get into it. Our first topic for tonight is the MVP. Obviously, I think everyone should know who the unanimous answer should be, but I do think there is a possibility that one individual can possibly sneak in there based off of his performance going against one of his division opponents this upcoming weekend. But obviously, right now, the top four are Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Tua Tagovailoa. For me personally, I think Lamar Jackson has shown definitely he is the MVP of the league. Regardless of what his numbers show, if you look at the clutchness and everything he's done when it comes to clutch games or big-time games, me personally, I think the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar took it personal when they did go to San Fran. Nobody thought they would go into San Fran and do what they did to San Fran and basically demolish them. Also, when you look at what he did against the Miami Dolphins just last week, Lamar Jackson and his team are built for a Super Bowl. Everybody was questioning, does Lamar Jackson deserve the money that he was supposed to get during the offseason? Yes. And I will say this, Lamar Jackson is the best player in the league. I know people say Patrick Mahomes, you have the Josh Allen, you have the Christian McCaffrey. You see what a healthy Lamar Jackson is able to do, and you surround him with weapons. There's no better quarterback and no better player in the league. Go ahead, fellas, what you guys think?
Yeah, I'll hop on in there, man. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I thought the fifth person that you may have been alluding to was Bryce Young, but
Absolutely not.
Wow.
Yo, you almost made me choke right there, man. That's a good one.
No, I'm just with you, man.
That was
But
a good one.
you know, just looking at Lamar and even dating back to last year, how he sat out that last game, I think he was against the Cincinnati Bengals, and how much talk and conversation it was, you know, with him not wanting to injure himself anymore for the sake of, you know, a possible playoff push, you know, and just having the ability to come back, got his bag, you know, has his mother as his agent, and has really turned up 14-3 this season, man. So I think Lamar Jackson is the clear-cut unanimous decision for MVP for this season, man. And you know, his numbers speak to it, especially going in, like you said, going into San Francisco. And let's talk about that whole team as an overall, you know, unit. The defense was demanding. The offense was effortless. You know, special teams did their thing, and with the addition of Dalvin Cook now today, like these guys are going to be unstoppable in the postseason. So, you know, he's definitely the unanimous decision for MVP.
Facts. I would say this real quick. With the and CJ, you can go ahead and come off mute. When they signed Dalvin Cook, people also have to understand they're getting a fresh running back going into the playoffs. I think a lot of people did think Dalvin Cook would be taken over with him and Breece Hall, but I think Breece Hall let the standard be known. I'm coming off an injury, but I'm still that guy. So when you still think of it's not Gus Edwards, Hill, and they still have Melvin Gordon, and you add now a Dalvin Cook, you're adding another weapon where look what Dalvin Cook was able to do when he was at Minnesota. The man had, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Now, I mean, what else can they do? I mean, they got better without really reaching. He was basically saying, I want to go get a ring, and probably had conversations. Agent had conversations with Baltimore. Now you add another weapon to go along with the weapons that Lamar Jackson has. And I honestly thought his production was going to go down when Mark Andrews got hurt and Dobbins got hurt. But you look at the depth pieces that they have. Isaiah Likely, like I just said, you had Hill, and now you had Melvin Gordon as well. So this team as a whole, like Dimitri said, they're just a juggernaut right now. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, I was just going to go ahead and agree with Demetrius about Lamar Jackson. I mean, you know, he has 3,600 passing yards. The man has 821 rushing yards, which also leads his team. And like you said, I was just looking at the roster, and you took the words right out of my mouth about Mark Andrews, and you see what what's his name, Isaiah Likely has done, you know, since he came in and stepped up, and you see what they have done against all of the top teams that they have played, and they have, you know, handily put all of them down per se. You know, Lamar is doing it through the air, he's doing it on the ground, and you know, if there's another clear-cut favorite, then I need somebody to tell me.
Go ahead. I'm waiting. I already know one person who's going to say, go ahead, Quan.
I mean, well, obviously, you know, it's pretty clear cut. I mean, Lamar Jackson is hot, you know, especially late in the season, especially after going against a stellar defense in the 49ers, man. Like y'all said, they're a juggernaut right now, especially going into the playoffs. I really don't see anybody stopping them. Lamar Jackson has proved all the doubters wrong. Everybody who keep calling him a running back, everybody saying he can't win a playoff game, everybody saying he's overpaid. He's literally shutting everybody up. There's nothing anybody can say but, you know, saying give him praise. However, personally, I still am on the CMC train. That's not a biased opinion. I just really like what he's done for the 49ers, man. And I mean, clearly this is a quarterback's award, so I don't see him winning it. But again, I think he's my personal favorite for MVP. I mean, you see just how many touchdowns he scored consecutively. I think it was over, 18 games in a row. I mean, he's doing something amazing over there. I mean, without him, that team looks different. I mean, it's probably still a championship-type team, but CMC has definitely changed the game for them, and he's doing something different over there. But you can't take that away from Lamar. Lamar has definitely been the clear-cut MVP for this year. So it's definitely got to go to Lamar Jackson. But I think Christian McCaffrey should definitely be like a very, very short runner-up.
All right. So Kuntz is alluding to, before AJ goes, I know where AJ is going to say, but Kuntz, who is a Buffalo Bills fan, is going to the second runner or the runner-up where I think could possibly push Lamar forward. And go ahead, AJ, then we can jump into the person who Kuntz is talking about.
Okay, so it will be Lamar. 24 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 2 of the interceptions are not his fault because early on this season, the wide receivers couldn't catch. We all hear about how the Chiefs receivers can't catch, Jaguar receiver can't catch. Early on the season, the Ravens receivers couldn't catch. So a lot of the miscommunication early on wasn't on Lamar Jackson. It was on the wide receivers. But Lamar is the MVP right now. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. But I am with Quan. Christian McCaffrey numbers are insane. He leads the league in rushing, and he also has 14 rushing touchdowns as well. And he almost has 2,000 yards from scrimmage, which is crazy. So if they would have beat the Ravens, you would probably have more love for Christian McCaffrey to be in the MVP discussion. He still is in the MVP discussion. I don't think that Lamar would be the unanimous MVP because there's going to be a lot of people that hate on Lamar because his numbers don't scream MVP. If you watch the games, that screams MVP. He's had a lot of injuries to the offensive line, like y'all mentioned before. The running backs of this team been decimated. No J.K. Dobbins for the majority of the season. They just lost Keaton Mitchell a couple weeks ago. He tore his ACL against the Chargers. And pretty much the run game hasn't changed because Lamar Jackson is the leading rusher. Like 2 fans in the stand said, he's leading the team in rushing. He's doing everything right now. If you take Lamar Jackson away from that team and knock on wood, hopefully no player gets hurt. If he gets injured, they're a completely different football team. And that's no offense to Tyler Huntley, the backup. But without Lamar Jackson, they're not the same Super Bowl caliber team.
So I would say this it's more of, I think record is given that Lamar is going to get it. But what Kuntz is saying is Josh Allen. I really do think Josh Allen is going to get consideration. Luckily, and I don't like how the award is kind of sort of regular season. Sometimes I do think this award should definitely be regular season and postseason because I do think it would be a great matchup with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills traveling to Baltimore. With Christian McCaffrey, I think is basically it was more of the Baltimore game where I think I lean to more of what Lamar. But again, I think record team-wise, Lamar's probably going to get it. But if you go individual stats, it should either go to Christian McCaffrey or Josh Allen. And nobody would have thought Josh Allen, how he started out the season, will even be in the MVP conversation because of the up and down play that he had. But Buffalo has now finally caught fire, and Josh Allen is showing us he possibly could be a different quarterback when it comes to playoff time right now.
Well, the thing is, he has 16 interceptions on the season. That's the thing. And like you mentioned early on, they weren't looking as good. That's one of the things that they're going to consider is like, have you been consistently good throughout the entire season?
Correct. So I guess we got what? Quan, you're saying C-Mac. I think CJ's going Lamar. Demetrius going Lamar. And then AJ, are you going Lamar or Christian?
I'm going Lamar. I think McCaffrey gets Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay. So
right.
So I will ask this question. So with all the criticism, and I want to say it was Demetrius that pointed out, with all the criticism that Lamar got, because, he did get hurt, like Demetrius said, during that last game last year when he wasn't able to play in the playoffs. And everybody was so critical of the contract that he's had. If you look at another quarterback that we're not discussing right now, but we will later on in the show, look at Dak Prescott. I think with the way that the quarterbacks have been playing, there's going to be a new market because everybody thought Lamar, again, he wasn't supposed to be a quarterback. He was supposed to be a wide receiver. He was supposed to be a running back. But you just look at what some of these quarterbacks are doing. It's a total different market for quarterbacks, and it is a quarterback-driven league. If you look at Patrick Mahomes has the traits, but he has no weapons. One thing that Lamar never was able to have was have a competent OC and have weapons. They went and got Zay Flowers. They went and got Isaiah Likely, I want to say a year or two ago. Bateman was drafted already. And they brought in a coordinator that can actually help Lamar spread the ball. So when you look at it, I think, me personally, I think this MVP, if he does get it, is more relevant than the one that he got prior when he first got his first one. And I also think, again, the weapons around Lamar are helping him, the reason why he will get MVP this year.
I want to add on to go ahead.
No. You go ahead, my brother. You go ahead.
I want to add to that point with quarterbacks getting paid. They're getting paid too much, and I blame Cleveland for this. They traded all those first-round picks and gave Deshaun a fully guaranteed contract. Look at all the quarterbacks that went down this season, and like you said, you went into it a little bit. They paid Mahomes so much to where they couldn't even keep Tyreek Hill. When's it going to be a certain point to where we say, hey, we can't pay a quarterback $50 to $55 million? Because more than likely, that's what Dak's going to get paid for the next couple of seasons, brand new contract. That means you're not going to be able to sign people like CeeDee Lamb or keep somebody like a Michael Parsons. Then the argument's going to turn into, well, they don't have weapons. The reason why they don't have weapons, they're taking up majority of the salary cap.
Facts.
That's a fact,
Yeah.
man. Ever since Deshaun Watson got paid that bag, I mean, that's really when the quarterback market done changed. That's when you start seeing all these quarterbacks getting like $200 million, over $150 million. I mean, the contracts got crazy after that, man. So Deshaun Watson definitely reset that market.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
And it's Cleveland.
Facts.
Hey, but fellas, do any of y'all see the possibility of any of these quarterbacks, kind of giving their team a discount, saying like, okay, I'll take this if we can keep this person or re-sign this person?
I think Jalen Hurts will.
Okay.
He already got paid.
But I think with the free agents and them possibly restructuring that roster, I think he will restructure his deal. Meaning, like I said, he got paid, but I think he will restructure his deal where they will be able to sign free agents and bring people in and restructure contracts.
Okay, yeah. I can see that.
Out of all the quarterbacks, I really think he will. Patrick Mahomes already did it. And they didn't utilize it or bring any weapons for him. Lamar just got paid, but again, what they did, and I think his name Ozzie Newsman. I think I'm saying his last name right. He was a great GM for them because they drafted very well to help Lamar. And before he actually retired as their GM, Ozzie did a great job of bringing pieces in where a couple people on this panel's favorite team, we have an incompetent GM that can't draft or bring in the right pieces. So I think in a way, your GM has to build the roster correctly where you want your quarterback to be the most paid. And that's where I think it's definitely going to be. It's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard because I'm trying to think who's the next quarterback. Did Justin Herbert get paid yet?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
Herbert got paid. I think he's the highest right now, if I'm not
did. Yeah,
mistaken.
he's the highest.
So
next is Dak. Dak's up for extension.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. And I appreciate DZ sending me that super chat. My guy said, "What's up, guys? We taking it this year. LG for MVP. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before I get my other point, shout out to Lamar Jackson. Man, had me win my Yahoo fantasy and come in third in another fantasy. So I'm definitely on the Baltimore train. Carolina, we're done. We've been done, but I'm definitely on that Baltimore packing train this year, man. So Baltimore, I'm definitely thinking it's their year and looking forward to the good playoff run. Go ahead, D.
Hey, if I could say this, I think the argument that AJ brought up about the cap space in at least the amount that quarterbacks are being paid, instead of a downward look, I assume, and what I mean by downward look, taking what the cap is right now and going off of that, I assume, and I can only think that we'll see another cap increase since 1994. I think the
Correct.
cap started at about 34 million. And now we're at 224. And I would assume it should be somewhere around about next maybe 2 years, 3 years. We're probably pushing like 300 million, So I can only assume that they're going to start to have these conversations, like you're saying, like a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that couldn't pay for a huge contract that they gave out to Patrick Mahomes, had to let go a star player, So I think that a significant increase will happen pretty soon, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to solve, this type of swing that has happened with quarterbacks. So, yeah.
So I'm actually going to give you guys a scenario, and I know AJ was going into it with Dak. Living here in Texas, I don't know if you guys really get outside of ESPN and, the national media. Right now, they're talking about Dak getting either 45 to $50 million per a year for a contract. The question I'm going to ask the panel, with him getting 45 to 50 a year, do you still think they'll be able to give Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb, the amount of money that he deserves and what he's shown this upcoming year, possibly being a top 10 wide receiver?
How much does he want again?
They're talking about giving that 45 to 50.
And it's because I haven't really kept up with CD's contract, but
he's up for a contract.
He's up for a contract.
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this. Depending upon how far they go into the playoffs will determine, whether or not whatever he's inquiring is going to get honored. If you just go back to the first round of the playoffs, I don't think that warrants anything more than, what you've been getting. So an increase or contract restructuring might happen. I don't think he gets a bag if they get out in the first round. If they make it to the Super Bowl, that's a different story. That's something that we have to look at. But I think if they get knocked out first round, like they always do each and every year, I think that they'll probably be pretty safe, man. I think CD will probably stay there.
Okay. So do you agree that Dak deserves 45 to 50 mil? Yes or no? Okay.
No.
All right, Quan or AJ?
Hell no.
Absolutely not, man. Hell no. I wouldn't pay. No, you're not paying those Dak and CeeDee Lamb. You're not getting both.
Okay.
I think they made that trade to get Trey Lance for a reason. If they go one and done in the playoffs this year, they're definitely going to be done with Dak. There's no way you can justify keeping Dak if you go one and done in the playoffs. There's no way.
Okay.
And CeeDee Lamb, honestly, when you talk about like the most impactful player, Dak's the quarterback, you'll say that it's Dak. But the most consistent player on that offense has been CeeDee Lamb.
Facts.
And I feel like they're gonna make some adjustments to that offensive line too, because you look at Zach Martin, it's not the same lineman. Tyron Smith can't stay healthy, so one of those linemen may get moved to help one of those guys get paid, or they may just make them take a pay cut.
So I'm gonna say this, and we got a couple of comments in the chat for the panel. One thing people thought, well, living here in Texas, they thought that releasing Zeke Elliott was going to give Tony Pollard the opportunity to be a feature back. Tony Pollard has not lived up to the hype that they thought he was going to be, that dynamic running back outside of Zeke. He's not a physical back, and that's the reason why some of these short yard games or their rushing attack has not been great. Tony Pollard, I think, will be released because he just got the franchise tag this upcoming year. That's another contract that they have to bring in or sign along with you're trying to pay your quarterback and your number one wide receiver. So it's definitely going to be interesting how Dallas does go along with the contract. Because again, like AJ said, Dak is due, but are they going to make him the highest paid? Because every quarterback wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. And I do not believe Dak is better than Lamar, better than Patrick Mahomes, not better than Josh Allen. And Justin Herbert, there's some problems over there in LA, but I do not think Dak Prescott is better than Justin Herbert. I definitely see a lot of people are going back and forth about the Ravens and Bills. Hopefully we do get that matchup where we can talk about it and have it live where we can go back and forth and even have people in the chat bring up their thoughts with the Bills versus Baltimore playoff matchup. But we got a question for the panel from Cody. I definitely appreciate you leaving a question for us. If anybody else in the chat has a question, definitely just write in the chat and we'll pop it up and ask the fellas. He said, what are y'all opinion on Jared Goff getting paid? I know AJ loves him.
The devil is a lie.
What? Go ahead, AJ. Since he put you on the spot, go ahead and jump it off.
He sure did put you on the spot.
Man, he know better. No, you don't pay no Jared Goff. No, Jared Goff is a middle-tier quarterback to me. It's the reason why the Rams moved off of him. He's a good quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Eli Manning. The thing is with Jared Goff, he'll have moments where he looks good against bad defenses. Then when you put a lot of pressure around him, he's not the same quarterback. You hit him a lot in the game, the accuracy wears down. He benefits a lot from a run game. If David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs is not putting in good work, he's not a good quarterback at all. And we've seen that a lot this season. Against the Cowboys, even though they did get cheated in that game, he threw 2 bad interceptions. Against teams with a winning record. He is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL that's starting.
I would say this with Jared Goff. Jared Goff, and I've seen this particular quarterback I'm going to compare him to, where you say he's not good, but he gets a lot of attention. It's Derek Carr. People can say what they want to say about Derek. Derek Carr is scared of pressure. I'm kind of glad Carolina didn't sign him because what I've seen in person, it will be worse than what we probably got. Because as soon as he feels it, he goes in frantic mode. The same thing with Jared Goff. He's not very mobile. So when he does not have an alley, like AJ said, his decision-making is very poor. He will force a throw rather than throwing away, or he will have his receiver or tight end or running back be in a win-win situation. And majority of the time, they have lost in those situations. I do like the reinvented Jared Goff outside of LA. I think a lot of people wrote him off when he went to Detroit. And I think a lot of that goes into Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. But I would like to see what Jared Goff is once Ben Johnson leaves this upcoming year. That would really determine, is Jared Goff transition to a different quarterback, or was the success of his OC the reason why he's been performing so well?
All right, so I'm going to push back on a little bit of what my first brother said. I think that you absolutely paid Jared Goff. Looking at this Detroit Lions team that is right now 11-5, and let's be honest, we all agree it should be 12-4 right now. I believe they did get, but when you look at the game log from the Detroit Lions, Dallas 271, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 67.2 passer rating. Minnesota Vikings 257, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 99. Against the Denver Broncos 278, 5 touchdowns, a 134. Chicago 181, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 54 passer rating. New Orleans Saints 231. This guy's consistently putting up numbers. He may not be the most mobile, and we just seen a non-mobile quarterback in Joe Flacco throw for over 300 yards without having his best receiver right now. These guys have a good offensive line. Jared Goff is protected. He doesn't need to run out the pocket. He doesn't need to scramble. He doesn't need to make things happen with his feet. So I think that you absolutely, considering the fact that the Detroit Lions, 2 years removed from this year, were like number 3rd in their division. Last year came in number 2 after knocking off the Green Bay Packers in the last game of the season last year, and now they're clearly the front runners in that division. It's not only because of Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell, but it's the quarterback position as well, and they've been putting in numbers. So I think that you absolutely do pay Jared Goff.
Go ahead, Quan.
I'm gonna kind of expand on that, man. Personally, I like watching Jared Goff play. I mean, he's got that veteran experience. I mean, he is what Cam Newton refers to as a game manager. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being a game manager or a game changer. As long as you know how to win games, you can work that system that's been implemented from your coaches. And I think Jared Goff overall does a really good job of that. Now, AJ pointed out that he does have some of his flaws where he does force the ball here and there. Obviously, he doesn't have any mobility, but also PPP pointed out you don't really need mobility to be successful. As long as you got a system in place, as long as you got a run game, it doesn't really matter, man. So I think so far, Jared Goff has definitely been helpful, and he has definitely contributed to Detroit's turnaround for helping them get into the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I mean, yeah, you can give that credit to Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell, but you also have to have a quarterback that can execute that system, and I think Jared Goff again does a really good job of that.
Man, Quan took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to bring up that whole game manager comment, but I kind of agree with Quan and Prime. You pay him, but the question is how much. You get what I'm saying? He's not gonna get top quarterback money.
He's already got his big contract, so he doesn't really need that top tier money.
Yeah, true. But if I'm Detroit, I'm keeping him.
Exactly.
I'm definitely keeping him.
I'm not talking about letting him walk. I'm just saying, does he deserve a major contract? I think that was a question. Here, let me go back and read. I think that was the question.
Yeah. Well, I think he deserves
he deserves enough to go ahead. He deserves enough to make him stay in Detroit.
Facts.
What are y'all opinions on Jared Goff getting paid? So I agree he needs to get paid, but it does have to be a boatload of money.
Yeah. It can be mutually beneficial for him and Detroit.
Facts.
Yeah, agreed. He shouldn't be getting nowhere near like Justin Herbert and the Lamar Jackson and stuff like that.
Facts.
Now, what if he makes it? What if the Lions make it to the Super Bowl? Does that change anything?
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No,
it does.
No.
I think it does. But
it does.
You're talking about Super Bowl, that changes things. Now playoffs is different, but Super Bowl, you got to pay him at that point.
We talking about a franchise that's never won a Super Bowl. He'll be treated like a king down there.
So AJ, you put it out there. If he wins it, I don't think he's gonna win it. So, but if he makes it, how much are we talking a year? Yeah, like I said, you threw. So I'm a
45.
So think about it. They're talking about paying Dak Prescott 40 to 45 to 50 mil, and he's probably meaning Detroit's gonna have to beat the Cowboys and make it to the Super Bowl. So if Dak Prescott is asking for 45 to 50 mil, and if Jared Goff makes it to the Super Bowl, what are we talking about?
Probably a little bit more, honestly. Probably a little bit more. We talking about a team that's never won a Super Bowl before. If he can get them to a Super Bowl with the current roster that they have, that justifies him getting paid.
I think he got to win it too, though.
Now, I think for them, just getting there will be experience. Because this is a franchise that's been through a lot. Just a couple years ago, where they were 0-16.
True. But what if they get there, don't win it, and then it's God knows how long before they get back? What if it's one of the situations where he get there,
I put it this way,
and then he falls off?
Well, he took the Rams to the Super Bowl and they didn't win it. Then the Rams turned around, they made him one of the highest paid QBs in the league.
Correct.
True.
So that's the reason I was going to say, because look what happened with Jalen. Jalen took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl, and
that's a whole different.
But yeah. And then look, right before Lamar got his, Jalen was top dog. So that's an interesting question. I appreciate that question because
that's a great question. That's a great question.
But I think, like you said, we got to see what they do in the playoffs. I still think he deserves money, but I just don't know how much. How much.
And I was about to bring up age and then realize that Dak is actually a year older than Goff.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. And he had Dak broke his leg a couple of years ago, right?
That foot was 2 years removed. 2 years removed. Yeah. All right, Randy Collins asked the question. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna go into our topic, and then I promise you, Randy, once we get right into it, because you actually have some Panther YouTubers on this panel, and I know
Oh yeah, I can't wait for this one.
Gonna rip them. I know for sure one is gonna rip them. But I know all of us as Panther YouTubers and podcasters are definitely tired of David Temper. But he said waiting on that David Temper conversation. AJ clipped him last time and early this week. So we'll definitely get into it. So with that, let me go ahead and get into our next topic on the battle for the AFC East. I know my guy Kuntz is going back and forth with people about his Bills. This game is played in Miami, but Miami is coming in wounded. And Buffalo is playing their best football right now, closing out the year. I really think if Waddle and Chubb did not get hurt, I think it would have been a better game. Also, you do have Tua that is hobbling in with a bad shoulder, where I do think McDaniels probably should have taken him out with them being blown out against Baltimore last week. So with my soliloquy and opening up, I do think the Buffalo Bills are going to win, and they're going to be the number 2 seed in the playoffs on the AFC side. Again, Josh Allen has been exceeding, but I cannot not give this one particular person credit. Shout out to Joe Brady. You see a different transformation, a different Josh Allen with Joe Brady calling plays rather than Ken Dorsey. I think a lot of Panther fan base forget we had the privilege of having Joe Brady in Carolina, but he was the fall guy when we had Matt Rule. That's another coach that possibly could still be in Carolina. You just see a different type of offense with Joe Brady calling plays. But I even go back a year before when he was at LSU, when LSU had all that talent with Joe Burrow. You had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He had Jamar Chase. He had Justin Jefferson. He had Terrence Marshall. He did have Randy Moss's son. Joe Brady was what we thought Matt Rule was going to be, that brain trust of bringing a different type of offense into the NFL. And now it is showing. And also when you look at it, the Buffalo Bills are doing this without Stephon Diggs having spectacular numbers. So their matchup is Sunday night closing out week 18. I do think both of them have clinched a berth in the playoffs, but I do think the Bills will win a division, and I do not see this game being close based off the injuries that the Miami Dolphins do have, even though they will have home field advantage for this game.
That really sucks for Miami though, because they really need to win this game so they can get that bye and rest up and try to get everybody back on the field.
They won't get a bye. Only the Baltimore Ravens only the number 1 seed gets a bye.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Yep, you know they changed it up now.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, never mind.
But Buffalo is injured too. They've been beat up all season too. They don't have Tre'Davious White. They don't have Matt Milano. Yep. They've been beat up too. So I give Sean McDermott a lot of credit with Joe Brady. Joe Brady is using James Cook like he's one of the best running backs in the league. That I did not see coming, because he completely crushed the Cowboys a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, man, he made them look silly.
Well, shout out to my fantasy team, because I drafted James Cook, so I did my research on that, and I knew James Cook. I actually knew James Cook was going to have a bounce back year or have a good sophomore year because he was a rookie last year. It's more for me, like you said, the injuries are on the defensive side. But again, if you look on the offensive side, Stephon Diggs is not getting the production that possibly was being force-fed with Ken Dorsey. And look at what Joe Brady's doing with the offense. Like you said, he's making James Cook, since he's taking over plays, a top 10 running back right now.
Well, you also got the rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid, correct.
You got Dawson Knox, too, their second tight end. They paid a lot of money, too. So it's just it's numbers. It's a numbers game. And Diggs will get his catches in, 2 to 3 catches. As long as they're winning, he's fine. That's all he cares about. So that's all that matters. But the defense has been good, too. The defense has been real good down the stretch. I still think that Miami can make it a game. Like you said, you believe it'll be a blowout. I think that
No, 10. I'm saying I think 10. I think they're gonna lose by 10 or more.
I
So
think it's home. It's home field advantage. They played each other once this season, and Buffalo gave it to them in Buffalo. They got the running backs. Both of the running backs are healthy for the Dolphins. So they're
correct.
going to try to run the football as much as possible with Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, but I will take Buffalo too. I'll
But I
take
will say
Buffalo.
this though: do you think the defense can relax a little bit with Waddle possibly missing the game?
No, Tyreek's still a monster.
Okay.
See, that's how you if you go in with the mindset of, oh man, we can just chill out a little bit, they other guys can beat you because they still got good players. They just don't have Waddle 100%. Even Tyreek's not 100%. When the video of him walking around with the ankle boot on when his house caught on fire, and prayers to him for that whole situation. I'm happy that everybody's okay. But you can see him in a walking boot still, so he's not 100%. But you definitely don't want to come out like days ago. Just come out, take care of business, and get that Dolphins team out of there. Because if Buffalo loses this game and the Steelers win their game, the Steelers take their playoff spot.
So, but I know. I actually thought the Bills still locked there. I thought they're locked in for the play.
Nah, not yet.
Okay.
Nah, they still got to win.
Okay. So it's Miami that's locked in, and the Bills have to win in order to stay in. Got you.
Yeah, if I'm Miami, I might just sit everybody. Honestly, I might just sit everybody.
Okay. What you got, CJ or Quan? Who you guys got in that AFC East matchup?
I'm gonna have to roll with Buffalo too, man. Like everybody's saying, Miami is banged up. They are injured, and Buffalo still has everything to play for. They can still lose this game and possibly get in the playoffs. But if I'm them, I'm going out. I'm going for the win because you get the win, you win the division, you good to go. But like we saying, there is a chance if Buffalo loses and who is it? Pittsburgh wins, Buffalo's going home.
Yeah. Well, see, they will know also because we'll go through the matchups in Week 18 to close it out. But the Steelers play on Saturday, so the Bills will be able to see what happens on Saturday night before they even touch the field.
Gotcha.
So, what you got, Quan?
I'm gonna have to go with Buffalo as well. I mean, all signs point to Buffalo winning this game. It's really for Buffalo to lose this game. Honestly, it's their game to lose. But like y'all said, man, Miami's pretty banged up with Jalen Waddle being out. I mean, yeah, Tyreek Hill is always going to be a threat, but if anybody's going to be able to beat Miami, it's going to be the Buffalo Bills. You know, given that they are division rivals, they're playing to get in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. All signs are pointing at them. This is really their game to lose.
Got you. So I think the whole panel is basically saying, basically Buffalo. So another thing too is, you know, if the Ravens do falter, everything goes through Buffalo, and you do not want to play up in Orchard Park at this time of year because you're definitely playing in the snow. Yes, I know Joe Burrow did go in there and the Bengals did handle business, but I lived in Buffalo. That's a different animal when it comes to that snow. It's a different animal. So I did not make a thumbnail for this particular topic. We're going to go ahead and get into it. As we know, our clown organization, our clown owner, Mr. Temper, was back in the news, not because of firing somebody, but throwing a drink on somebody this past week in Jacksonville. AJ actually texted me, and I think I was out. On Sunday. He was like, bro, I just seen the video. And I'm like, what you talking about? And he was like, you haven't heard about David Temper. And sure enough, I went on Instagram, and that's what everybody was talking about. Regardless of us losing, that was the main conversation of David Temper getting in the national spotlight like he's been doing since he's our owner and throwing a drink on somebody. I'll be short-lived. I already told AJ I don't really even want to talk about it. I know we have to give our community what they need to talk about, but for me, I was really hoping Not David Temper. Roger Goodell told him to just sell the team. And now I know that wasn't going to happen. But for me, this man is hurting our chances to actually get a coach, I think. Some of the national media has already said, no coach wants to play for him. We don't really know that. But we're in a bad spot right now in Carolina. And it's sad to say that because we actually have pieces around Carolina. I do think Charlotte is a great location for players. I think players will want to come. But when you have a clown owner like David Temper, where he can't stay out of the way, I know somebody on the panel said we have Snyder Jr., and I said, don't say that, because Snyder was a bad owner for the for the Washington Commanders / Redskins. But for me, I don't even want to talk about it. Like I don't know. It's something new every week with him being involved with the Panthers. And it's really a shame that outside of AJ, everybody on this panel has put money into this organization, has traveled to go see this organization, has bought jerseys, and we can't get an owner that does right by the team, the city, and by the mantra and, our logo. It's just sad. It's a very sad time right now in Carolina, and I don't know what to expect for the offseason. We're close to the offseason. We're literally, a couple of weeks, and you can go ahead and start interviewing coaches. So I really don't know what to go into with this man, but whoever wants to talk about it, we can get into it. Again, I know one person's going to go in. I ain't even saying you, AJ. I know somebody going to go in.
It's going to be me.
So now I'm going to call his name out. Quan, go ahead and jump in because I know.
Yeah,
Quan,
go ahead.
I already know Quan can't stand him. And it's just, for me, man, it's pathetic. For me, this last thing I will say, if I was that fan, I would have sued. I would have sued. And I don't want no money. Yeah, you probably want money, but it's almost, to me, it's like you're spitting on me. You threw an actual drink. Who knows if you were drinking out of that drink or whatever. But for me, that's just downright disrespectful. Downright disrespectful. And you saying, I should have walked away. Why didn't you walk away? Why didn't you walk away? Like, it's almost like what do you call it? A kid throwing a tantrum where you're upset because your team lost. You're the reason why you brought these particular players in, or you hired the man that still should be fired, Scott Fitterer, to be a GM. You brought in Frank Wright. You brought in Matt Rule. So you have to take ownership of what you have made and what you babied of the Carolina Panthers. That's all I got to say. Go ahead.
Man, I respect your platform, man. I'm gonna try my best not to cuss while I'm going through this topic, man. But David Tepper, obviously, man, as Panthers fans, we have had enough. And even before he poured the drink on the fan, we already had our doubts about David Tepper, man. Everybody was fed up with him. He got his hands in everything.
That's what I'm laughing at too,
man. I talked about it over at my channel on a short video, man. We've been literally playing Russian roulette with quarterbacks. We've had a different quarterback literally every single year since David Tepper has been in the office. We have been going coach from coach. He refused to hire a coach that the players and the fans advocated for. And then only for us to be back at square one looking for another head coach. It's all just a lot of bullshit. And then you turn around. Oh, no, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. Then you hear a lot of reports about him coming out of the locker room yelling the F-bomb. So that got around a lot. Everybody like, okay, our owner's throwing temper tantrums. He's looking like a child, all this and that. And now you get in trouble publicly. You caught in 4K throwing a drink on another fan. This is very low class from a multi-billionaire. Throwing a drink on a damn fan. That's embarrassing. As if we already wasn't embarrassed being Panthers fans. Now we got to deal with the media chewing out our owner who owns this team. And I don't know, man. I'm fed up. Honestly, I'm about like you. I'm about tired of the Panthers organization right now. And it's mainly because of David Tepper. We haven't had a single winning season literally since he became our owner. And it's crazy because we went to the playoffs the year before he came in, and ever since then we ain't been shit. We just ain't been shit since. So I'm fed up with David Tepper, and it's unfortunate because he is the owner. It's nothing we can really do about it. And then what pisses me off even more is that you got a slap on the wrist with what, 300K fine. Like that's nothing to a
That's
multi-billion
nothing.
dollar
That's nothing.
person, man. So I'm fed up, man. It's really embarrassing. I mean, I don't know, man. Like you said, ain't nobody gonna really want to come here. I was hoping, we had an advantage to get Ben Johnson, but I don't know, man. I'm at the point where I don't think anybody should want to come here, especially after they seen that. Who would want to work for David Tepper at this point, man? I don't know. I'm done with it.
All right.
Yeah, let me hop on in there real quick.
Go ahead.
So I'll say this. The antics that David Tepper has exuded over the past 6 years has spoke to not only just his character, but how his business acumen is, right? Anybody who says in the press conference that everybody loves to work for me, yet year after year, you have top-ranking executives that are under you in Tepper Entertainment that are leaving, just resigning, getting up out of here. The deal with Rock Hill, gone. It wasn't because Rock Hill don't know how to handle it.
I believe that now. I believe.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was because of him. And what does he do? The moment he has the opportunity to, he takes away the training camp from Spartanburg. Not because it's more economical, because I'm pretty sure after 20 years you built up a relationship with Wofford where it was pretty, okay on the pockets, but because you just want to stick it to Governor McMaster's. That's all it was.
Fact.
That's all it was. So him being upset, he should have been upset after week 6 when we was 0-6, looking crazy out here. That's when you should have been mad. But you're going to throw drink at a fan because they're talking to you? That's little boy, type motion, man. That's schoolboys, type of behavior. And it should $300,000. It's like $3 to David Tepper. And I think it should have been a little stiffer. I'm glad that they did not take draft picks from us, because I think that type of decorum should warrant that type of punishment. It should. But I'm glad they did. David Tepper keeps getting off. And, there's a Bible verse that says, because sentence against an evil deed is not executed speedily, the hearts of men are continuously evil. David Tepper has not been sentenced to the level in which it's going to hurt him. So he's going to continue to keep doing these type of things.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on it.
All right, CJ or AJ?
Yo, man, let me tell you, you are a billionaire owner of a professional football team, and you got the nerve. Whatever happened, you out there throwing Milwaukee's best Bud Light or whatever you had in that cup on a fan in an opposing team stadium. An opposing team stadium, not even at home. You down in Jacksonville throwing drinks on people, okay? And then, like the other guy said, the NFL basically slapped him on the wrist with a $300,000 fine. The thing that pisses me off about this, if that had been a player, it would have been, multiple game suspension. They would have been talking about, the conduct code, and you got to do this and you got to do that. You got to be better than this and all that. It's like they said what they said about it, and now they're just going to move on. Like this $300,000 fine does nothing to him. And like Quan said about a coach, I said this on our channel. Now, mind you, if I'm Ben Johnson, right, and the rumors were he wanted $15 million a year, the price, the yesterday's price is not today's price. The price is going to go up. I want about 20, and I want a guarantee in writing that I'm going to get at least 2 to 3 years without being able to be fired. Let me build this up. Something, because it's frustrating. Like Quan said, we had a coach that the players rallied behind. Okay, and we won 6 games after he took over as interim. We're talking about Steve Wilkes. All right, you wanted an offensive-minded coach. Okay, cool. Now look where we at. All right, instead of the obvious choice, and you build off of that, no, he had to go get a offensive minded coach, and we're still sitting here in the bottom of the barrel. So it's just frustrating. It really is, because no matter, now we don't know if there was anything that the fan turned around and said to him, or because all we really see is him throwing the drink. But even still, as an owner, whatever happened, that should not have been his response. It only amplifies that we are just trash this season. So yeah, like who would want to come here? Now you think about more than just the coaches. Think about the players. Right. Now you're thinking about possible free agents that we're trying to attract. They look at that. Nah, bro, I'm good. I'm gonna go over here and sign with somebody else. Y'all can have that.
And see, and before I let AJ go, like the part for me is, he's passed away now, but I really wish we could have gotten that audio of what Jerry Richardson said, because whatever he said, I know an owner right now here in Dallas, Texas, that is the same thing that Jerry Richardson is. You can say he's not. Jerry Jones is exactly in that same boat of Jerry Richardson. When Jerry Richardson was our owner, he never stepped in the way. He allowed people to do their jobs, and he wanted to bring the Carolinas together. And I think David Tepper has torn that away. And I think Demetrius and CJ just said that when you look at what he had at Rock Hill, he tore everything down. Basically, it was like, y'all can try to sue or go to court, whatever. I'm possibly going to win. But for him to move training camp to Charlotte, where now they're going to tear down the bubble, you don't even have a bubble anymore. You're going to add another practice field back out there near the stadium. What was the cause of that? Because when you have fan fest or fans want to come out there, you're not going to have the same amount of room that you had out in Wofford. I think business-wise, again, I've said this before, Carolina Panthers were an investment. He wanted to invest in this team. It was like a toy. It was something given to him. I know I can outbid somebody for this. I'm going to take advantage of it. And when you have bad investments, things fail. And I'm afraid that now I can't see David Tepper selling the team or moving the team. And for me, being from Carolina, I think that would be the worst thing to do. I think we need to just have the state own it and not have an owner. Be like the Green Bay Packers. You can buy stocks into the organization. It's so much, and I sound so dry because it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's the same thing, different week, different scenario. I think CJ said 300,000 is nothing. You didn't make an example of him. You didn't suspend him. Most people think he'll be suspended for a couple of games and a hefty fine. He didn't get none of that. So for me, it's just a bad look for us. It does not represent the Carolina Panthers. He is our owner, but it does not represent us. But it's just a bad look right now. It's a terrible look. Go ahead, AJ.
I told you he's Dan Snyder 2.0, if not worse. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I know all about him. I'm a huge Steelers fan. He was a minority owner with us. I know everything about him. He's terrible. He's an investor, like you said. Before I get into all the football moves, he's an investment businessman. That's what he is. I put him in the same category with other guys. He's that billionaire that wants more, Those are the worst type of people on earth because they can never get enough. No matter what the people say, they can never get enough. It's greed that gets them, and it's envy. That's what it is. He wants complete control over everything. And with him purchasing this team, if he doesn't like the decision that's being made, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, he's going to twist it to his way. There is no reason to why you should be heading towards your third coach this soon into a quote-unquote rebuild. That's what he called it. Because you hired Matt Rule. Terrible. Then you go in, like two fans in the stand said, and Quan said, you had Steve Wilkes. There was no reason not to make him the head coach at least a year. You won 6 games. You moved off of him because he didn't coach your way. You wanted to go with Frank Reich. that was in a culture way, who he was good friends with at the time, who just got fired from the Colts. Frank Reich, nice as all can be, fires him, and now you're in another bad situation. Everyone thinks they're going to go out there and get Coach Johnson from the Lions. I don't think that's the case. I think they should call up their DC to be the head coach because he's done a terrific job, and he's on the contract extension with this team for the next 3 to 4 years, right, Doug?
Yeah, that's correct.
It'll be easier to just call him up and just let him be the head coach, building his image. Regardless, even if they do hire Coach Johnson, it's going to be a lot for this team to come back from in such a short amount of time. He doesn't care about Carolina. He doesn't care about football. He cares about making money. That's it. Jerry Jones is in the same kind, and I know what you were saying. You're not trying to get there, ain't gonna get there either. He is based on the same wavelength as Jerry Richardson with the comments that were made, but Jerry Jones cares about football.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the difference. Dan Snyder, to a point, even though I can't stand him, dislike him, he cared about football. This man doesn't care about football.
It's all about
the reason why he got upset with that fan is because he probably said something like this: your team is trash. He took that to heart. Like, oh man, this is the team I drafted. These are the players I put on this team. How dare you say this about me? How he took it personally. Instead of acting like the 66-year-old man he is, he acted like a 6-month-old and want to throw his drink on somebody. It's 3 things in life you never do to anybody, man or woman. You don't put your hands on them, you don't spit at them, and you don't throw your drink at them. Well, 4th thing, you don't cuss at them. We are all adults. He better be glad that that fan couldn't get hope to him.
Yeah.
So for them to just fine him $300,000, I also got a problem with Roger Goodell because we've seen it before. Players get suspended for smoking weed, and they get a paid doc for that. This man threw his drink on somebody. It was a point in time over the pandemic. If you spit on somebody, you could do time in prison for that.
It was a felony. Yep.
So for him to just go out there, and I think it was Jack Daniels that was in the cup, for you to just throw that on somebody, basically like they mean nothing to you. I don't care if he was a Panthers fan, a Jaguars fan, that is somebody's son. That could have been a father, brother. You just don't do that. And understand, I don't know what the fan said. He probably said something that made him upset. As adults, man, just walk away.
Yeah.
But I'm with what Demetrius said, man. His punishment wasn't harsh enough. He's gonna continue to do stuff like this until the punishment seems fit.
Yeah.
And for my man Randy that was actually in the comment section below, I'm not gonna go into deep details about it again because he's not worth it. To be completely honest, he's not worth it, and he's not even worth his time. He's a horrible owner, and to be honest, he's a terrible person too. I don't even have to know him to tell he's a terrible person. He's smug at the press conferences, and every time you see him, look at what I'm doing for Carolina. You're doing nothing for Carolina, but hurting Carolina.
Facts.
Hey, and can I add on to that a little bit, Doug?
Go ahead, CJ. Go ahead.
You know, and oh goodness, man, I swear I lost my train of thought that damn quick.
No, you good. Only thing I would say this. I owe Steve Wilkes an apology. I was one of the Panther YouTubers, fans saying I didn't want Wilkes. I didn't. And
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said that because it was out of emotion because of that last game in Tampa. But when you look at it, I only thing I would have asked Steve Wilkes if he did become our head coach, he had to change up coordinators. He had to. Mm-hmm. But who knows? But I will say that one thing you can't do being an owner, I'm a fan. David Tepper's going off based off of emotion. And when you're over a team like that, you can't go based off of emotion. That's the reason why I'm glad what Sheena Quick said. He needs a handler. You need a football handler that knows football. One thing that I will allude to what AJ said about Jerry has football handlers around him now. He has his nephew. And what's the other guy that we said, AJ, what's his name?
He has Steve and his son.
Steve. He has football handlers around him that outside of the emotional decision, he has a board that he has to go to and say, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. He can still make decisions by himself, but he has a board of trustees that he has to discuss. Oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. David Temper's making these decisions by himself. The same reason why we got that terrible turf, the reason why the players went to him, he still didn't listen because he wants to hold 40 events per year in a stadium. Like, I can go on and on about David Temper. I don't want to because I know I will get out of character. And I will say something that, based off of emotion, I regret. He does need to sell the team, and I will say that. And I do see, Bleezo, you did. I remember you were one that was saying that. I definitely do think it's time for him to sell the team, or we need to force his hand some way, somehow. Go ahead, CJ.
No, I'm sorry. I had a major brain fart right there. I apologize, everybody. But I was going to add to what AJ said. The only way to get Tepper to act right is if he sells the team. Now, Goodell can't go to him and say, okay, we need you to sell the team. But if I read correctly, they can vote him out. I think it takes 24 of the 32 owners to basically make him sell the team. Correct. The way he is, his demeanor, how he goes about it. You know, if he hadn't put a statement out and did another press conference, I could easily see him getting back up there and doing his whole, you know, look at what I've done for Charlotte monologue that he did after he fired Frank Wright. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like there's much humility, you know, in him. But yeah, the only way to get him to act right is to get him out of here.
Hey, y'all know there is a petition out there too. So hey, if you see that petition, go ahead and sign that.
Sign it.
For real.
I'll advise Panther fans just don't go to the games.
They did that. They did that with Dallas. They did that with Green Bay.
Yeah, stop going to the games. Just keep doing it over and over again. I promise you it'll make a difference. Hit him where it hurts the most. Hit him in the pockets.
Yeah, but then you know he gonna be bringing all these concerts and this and that. The third, he you know, I mean, it's like you're doing something on one hand, but then he's still making money with the other hand. You know, he's hurting over here, but he ain't gonna be hurting for long.
Yeah. All right. I know Demetrius got I think it's 8:46 you guys' time, so I know close to 9. We're going to jump into our next topic. Definitely appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat that's pulled up with us. Again, we got 3 more topics, so we will drop the link here if anybody in the chat wants to pull up and discuss with the panel. Definitely appreciate my panelists and my family. I call them family that has joined us tonight to definitely give you guys our perspective and definitely talk about some hot takes in the NFL. We have another matchup or 2 teams that are trying to win their division. You have the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. For me, I've been able to see both of these teams, and my perspective on both teams have changed throughout the year. I was more leaning to Philly based off of my ties with the Philadelphia Eagles. But I will tell anybody this. Based off of what Dallas has shown me lately, Dallas can be a very dangerous team. The Philadelphia Eagles, they have coordinator issues. Brian Johnson, thank the Lord we did not bring him as our OC. God knows what was going to be shown or seen. I can't think of a defensive coordinator. He already lost his title. They gave him. He's still the DC, but you got Matt Patricia calling plays now. You have Darius Slade, who's out with injury. It's definitely, I think the Eagles are going to be one and done. Whenever they make it, I think the matchup right now, they will be doing, I think I've seen Tampa right now. I think they can be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But for me, I think out of the 2, I do think Dallas will win the division. I do think they will beat Washington. It's not going to be easy. I do think Eric Bieniemy and the Commanders will throw everything and the kitchen sink at them. But for me, I think Dallas can be very dangerous in the playoffs if they do win the division.
I was called a hater my entire time when I critiqued the Eagles, man. I was called a hater. I said it from the beginning. I was like, man, they can't run the football the same. There's all you just hate Jalen Hurts. They have good players. And Doug, you know, I've been saying this on the phone. They have good players. Their coaches aren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, when it comes to playoff time or late in the season, that's going to get exposed. That defense is atrocious. I don't care if you have Matt Patricia calling plays, whoever's calling plays. If they can't get pressure with that defensive line or those linebackers, that secondary is cooked. Those corners look horrible. Even when Darius Slay was on the field, they was getting cooked. There is no way that you are in the close game with the Giants a couple of weeks ago against them on Christmas Day, and you just lost against the Arizona Cardinals. And you can say, well, the offense stalled out in the second half. You had a big enough lead to keep that in check. That's a bad Arizona Cardinals team. They're basically Kyler Murray and James Conner. That's it. James Conner was averaging 8 yards a carry before the fourth quarter in that game. Now they're getting ran on. They're easily one and done. And I bet you this too. They probably going to lose against the Giants this week, more than likely, because they almost lost to them a couple weeks ago. If Tyrod Taylor didn't have that missed pass to the tight end.
Yep.
And far as Dallas, very good football team. But I will say this too. They're not as good as people think they are. They can't stop the run against physical football teams. Michael Parsons is good, but when you double team him, they're not getting no pass rush. And if they don't have the referees throwing flags for them, they can't win football games against top tier teams.
So with me saying that, I'm alluding to them not playing Detroit, and obviously them playing, is it Tampa, Green Bay, or Minnesota?
Or the Rams.
The Rams, I want to see the Rams.
Now the Cowboys already beat the Rams this year, but that was without Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams,
yes,
he's averaging 5.6 yards a carry.
Yes.
So, like I said, if they can't stop the run to put the pressure on the quarterback, the defense is not the same. And this is the same team that lost against the Dolphins a couple weeks ago too. That can barely beat teams above 500.
I mean, if you look at it, yes, they're undefeated at home. I would say they lost the Detroit game, even though in the record books it's not. They are undefeated, but they struggle on the road. But they also struggle with teams over 500.
You need to fire that referee too.
Yeah, they do.
You know they got demoted.
Yeah,
the whole staff.
Playoff games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But see, when a player make a mistake and he do something, that suspension is going to be way longer than just a demotion.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. What you got, Quan, CJ, or D?
I mean, look, I agree, man. Dallas is overrated, man. Especially, I mean, honestly, Dallas and Philly, they both overrated. But as far as who's winning the division, I don't know, man. I feel like Eagles have more of a worse fall off than Dallas, man. Because I mean, if you look at Eagles, like y'all pointed out, their defense is atrocious lately, which is very surprising to me because going into the season, that was one of their strengths. So I don't know, man. It's just I think if anything, Dallas will take the division, but I don't know, man. Eagles definitely don't fell off. They don't fell off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, this is kind of a sticky situation. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You got two teams that are vying for, you know, playoff spot or to be in the playoffs or whatever. And their last couple showings has not been picture perfect. You know, the Eagles, you know, more notably have been like just wetting the bed in decent games. You know, that Seattle Seahawks game, you know, there was another one. Who was the last one they played? They lost to. I don't remember.
Arizona. They just lost to Arizona.
Yes.
They lost.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, you got teams where like you shouldn't have lost to a Drew Lock. You know, I know Smith and Jigba. I know he's a beast, but come on, like they need to get down the field to score a touchdown. Like, why aren't you being coached up to play deep quarters or whatever? You know, it's just brain farts at the brain farts and just, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. Now on Dallas side, Dallas has always been a mid team to me. You know, they've always been that. They'll win some, they'll lose some. They'll do just good enough to get to the playoffs and then lose. So, you know, I don't have any confidence in Dallas. I have more confidence in Philly. Going a little bit further than Dallas. I just don't trust Dak. I don't trust Dak's decision making. You know, he looks good, but you know, when it comes down to his play on the field, it's questionable. And I really wish I would have. I think Dak threw a pick last week, and I said I don't think he's gonna throw a pick. I could have got my prize pick money, so I'm mad.
I looked at that same thing too, man. I definitely was on that same thing.
I was mad, man. But you know, it is what it is. I think the Eagles come out on top. I think the Eagles, you know, I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl.
So so you're saying the Eagles are going to beat the Giants and Washington's going to beat the Cowboys this weekend?
Bro, I think so.
Okay.
Because Dallas has been losing to or coming close to losing to trash teams.
Okay.
And Ron Rivera would love nothing better to do, even with all of the stuff.
Game.
This is his last game.
As a head coach.
He's going to go out on top. He's going to go out throwing everything, you know, at him, you know, defensively. And yeah, I think the Commanders may beat him.
So let me ask you fellas this. One thing that I think is the problem with the Eagles, players are outshining coaching, meaning that the coaching is so terrible that at certain levels, players can outplay their competition without coaching. Now it is showing that the coaches and coordinators in Philly are so terrible that they're trying to outplay their opponents, but their opponents are being coached up. Because if you look at it, the Arizona Cardinals the Arizona Cardinals head coach is the former D coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. So he already knew how to scheme, and he had the players to go ahead and stop the Eagles. The Eagles didn't have any counter because they have terrible coordinators, and you cannot outplay players when they are coached up. And I think that's what we're seeing on the Eagles' recent slump for about 3 to 4 weeks right now. They're trying to outplay their coaching, and their coaching sucks.
And Jalen Hurts just not the same either. To just be honest with it, he's just not the same quarterback. I mean, you look at the passing concepts; they're not the same. Shane Steichen did a lot of good work with him. He is now the head coach with the Indianapolis Colts. But every quarterback that he's coached in the NFL, as soon as he leaves, they're not the same quarterback. He also coached up Justin Herbert as well. Now, Herbert is still one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But it's one season when he was his quarterback's coach, that was his best season. Jalen Hurts isn't the same. He has a lot of turnovers this season compared to last season. That's one thing that's holding this team back. And when your defense is playing as bad as it is, that's not going to be able to go out there and be a winning formula. And they still can't run the football the same like how they were last year. A lot of that is on the offense coordinator. I don't know why he's so obsessed with making Jalen Hurts a Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes type. That's not his game. That's not who he is. He can be later in his career, but right now that's not him. You can run the football with DeAndre Swift. The offensive line is still good. They still have good players, like you said before, Doug. It's just the play calling. It's just mind-boggling. But they have a bigger issue on that defensive end. James Bradbury looks terrible. He looks horrible. I mean, man, and you've seen him since college. He's not playing the same.
Well, you see, that's why I laugh. So, you know what I say? James Bradbury is not the fastest corner out there. Where he lacks in speed, he's more of a track down corner that uses his length. But now you're up in age where that's not going to help. And I think it almost reminds me of Josh Norman for us Panther fans. Josh was good, but at the back end, it was just time to call it quits. And I think he's an average corner, but he needs to go in the slot now. He's not a boundary corner anymore. I think that time has passed. I really think that
Yeah.
time is fast.
I'd agree. He was, to me, he was okay in Carolina, but I was never that high on him, personally. You comparing to Josh Norman, when Josh Norman left, Carolina, he was still kind of
I'm
playing
saying
at the top of it.
the return of Josh. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, facts. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So, hey D, you gotta head out?
Yeah, man, I'm actually getting everything ready for it at it's gonna drop at 9:30. So yeah.
Okay, go
But
ahead and shout out Panther Prime Podcast. Definitely tell them where they can find you at, and tell them what you're gonna be talking about tonight, man.
yeah, man. So hey, this is Demetrius with the PPP Panthers Prime Podcast, man. You can find me on YouTube at PanthersPrimePodcast.com. If it's okay with you, Doug, to drop the link inside
Go ahead
there.
and drop the link. Go ahead and drop the link.
So they can go directly there. But tonight I'll be talking about in the NFLPA put out a they put out a little article.
Yeah,
about the top defensive coordinators, top offensive coordinators, and top special teams players or coaches. I mean, that should possibly be looking at a head coaching job, at least from what the players have voted. So, two of our coaches have made it, which is Thomas Brown and Chris Tabor. Don't know how Evero hasn't gotten that, but
Facts.
That's a little wild to me. And plus, I don't put much stock into it, but it is what it is. It's something to talk about. So that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yes, sir, man. Definitely appreciate you pulling up and giving your insight on our topics tonight, man. Like I said, once we close out, I'll definitely pull it up on the screen. And if everybody is up still, definitely head over to PPP Panther Prime Podcast and show our guy Demetrius some love tonight, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much, Doug, for inviting me over, man. I appreciate it so much.
No, anytime, man. Anytime.
Oh yeah, one love, man.
Love you. Yeah, most def, man. Y'all be good, man.
Yes, sir. All right, like I said, we probably got about 30 more minutes in us, man. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link on this next topic. For our college fans, I know a lot of us love sports, but with Michigan now in the national championship beating Alabama and Washington beating Texas in the Sugar Bowl, will Jim Harbaugh be coaching his last game in for the Michigan Wolverines on Monday and finally be heading back to the NFL? But that, I don't know who. I read a couple articles today. They're looking at the Raiders possibly now, but I really think he will end up with the Chargers. And I do like that combination of Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. I do think that Michigan, I am going to pull for Michigan. I was pulling for Alabama, but I do think Michigan will win it all. I will not sleep on Michael Penix Jr. I do like him as a quarterback. I love Bryce Young. You can, whatever, they call us Bryce Young lovers. But if we did wait and we did not draft a quarterback last year, I would love to have Penix as our quarterback. I love the maturity that he's developed when he was at Indiana and now got hurt and went to Washington. But for me, getting back on topic, I do think Jim Harbaugh has coached his last game in college and he will be back in the NFL. Only thing that I am skeptical with him being back, he wants to have some type of GM role with whatever organization he does get to become the new head coach. I think that will be iffy with certain teams. And I know the Chargers are trying to do both of those vacancy interviews at the same time. So for me, I am looking forward to a good game on Monday. And I do think this will be the last time we will see Jim Harbaugh sporting that yellow and blue.
Yeah, it's time to go back to the league, man, because he had a scandal anyway this year. They're trying to get him out of college to begin with. I don't know what the whole scandal basically entailed. If y'all know, y'all can update me on that. But I know that it was
illegal recruiting. You know how you have dead peers in recruiting and still trying to recruit when you have dead periods, which you can't do.
Oh,
Simple
that
as
was
that.
it.
That's it.
He got suspended for that.
That's it.
Yeah, it's time to just go to the league. I think that they're going to win the Natty. They're going to beat Washington, which is going to be tough because it's the two best of the two best. Washington has the best offensive line in college, and Michigan has the best defensive line. From what you just saw Michigan do to Alabama on Monday, they completely ran through them and made life tough for them. Michigan has a solid quarterback, very good running back, and some good wide receivers as well. Their quarterback has only lost one game since he's been a starter. And I think that he's going to declare for the draft. The same with Harbaugh as well. He's going to go up to the NFL. I think the Chargers are the best fit for him. You have a franchise quarterback in Herbert. Keenan Allen is questionable because he was very good this year, but the last couple of games, he's been injured. Mike Williams is good, always injured. Then they drafted Quentin Johnston. He wasn't able to catch the football as much, but he has high upside. They have a lot of pieces there for him. And we saw he was able to do with the 49ers years ago. I'm talking about back in the decade. He made the Super Bowl with Kaepernick. They were a couple plays away from possibly winning that Super Bowl. So his system may be outdated, but it's also very interesting. If you look at the NFL right now, you have Sean Payton back as a head coach with the Broncos, Mike McCarthy back as a head coach with the Cowboys, Mike Tomlin still in the league with the Steelers, Bill Belichick still with the Patriots. We'll see what happens after this season. It's like the league is basically reversing itself back to older coaches coming back from other gigs and coming back into the league.
Yeah.
Oh, you got Pete Carroll too. I think Pete Carroll's 72? Yeah, he's 72 years old.
Carroll's 72?
Yeah, he's 72. He's the same age as Nick
he's up
Saban.
there, man. He's
So
up there.
yeah, so the league. So we talk about somebody like Coach Johnson possibly being a head coach. You have D'Amico Ryan and Coach LaFleur and Sean McVay. It's a lot of young coaches, but I believe that period has basically just like passed over. Because like all of a sudden we have all these coaches over the age of 65, and I thought we were heading back into the other direction to where you'll see a bunch of 40 or early 50-year-olds get those jobs. I just think that's interesting.
All right. Quan or CJ, y'all got anything about Monday night?
Yeah, man. I'm going with hell to the victor, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I was rooting for Michigan to beat Alabama, and I guess I'm one of them fans. I'm just happy that we don't have to watch Alabama or Georgia in the title game again this year.
Okay.
I hate to be like that, but it's for me. It's just good to see somebody else. Two different conferences. Even though I know the Pac-12 is going to be basically dissolved after this season. I would like to see Michigan win it, after they went out like they did last year. Harbaugh going to the league is probably, a foregone conclusion right now. Like I was saying about the different options of where he goes. With the way things have gone for us in Carolina, I highly doubt
it's not gonna happen.
Any way. Yeah, there's no way in hell he's coming to Carolina.
It's not gonna happen.
But yeah, but I'm looking forward to a good game. And I mean, personally, I'd take either one. I'd take Washington or I'd take Michigan. But I'm just gonna stick with Michigan since I rooted for them, in the other game in the Rose Bowl against Alabama. So
I would say this before Quan says anything. We also have to remember Washington is now in the Big 12. I don't know what they're going to call themselves, but we possibly can see I don't know if they play next year, but I know they're in the same conference. But basically, Michigan and Washington are now in the same conference because of the conference realignment. And it will be interesting if they do play again next year in the regular season in the new Big 10. I said Big 12 in the new Big 10. So.
Hey, Doug, who are the only teams that are left from the Pac-12 that haven't
Washington State, and is it Washington State and Oregon State?
Okay.
Yeah, Oregon State. Those are the only two.
Okay.
Who is it? Cal and somebody else coming to the ACC supposedly?
You got Cal, SMU, and Stanford.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, Quan, you just watching the game, or you got a dog in the fight on Monday night?
For Monday night's game, I mean, I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. I don't really watch much college ball these days, but due to the simple fact that I'm hoping Harbaugh gets that spot in the NFL. I hope Michigan come away with it. I mean, that definitely solidify his position in the NFL, get him some offers. I mean, like y'all said, it's probably unrealistic of us getting him here. I'm actually not that big on getting Harbaugh here, but I do want him to get his bag. I want him to get back in the NFL and make something happen. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Michigan. Again, I don't watch much college ball, so I don't really know much about Washington.
Okay. So I think the panel and a couple people in the chat are saying Michigan. So we'll definitely see what happens on Monday, man. But again, I do like Michael Penix, and I love the weapons that they have. We can definitely use one of those wide receivers out for one of the Huskies this year if they are available. But again, we need Scott Fitterer fired as well, so we can build this roster the right way. The last topic we're gonna close out with is Week 18, fellas. I'm gonna pull the schedule up. As we know, it starts on Saturday. Again, like I was alluding to, the Bills will know if the Steelers do win when they do play Baltimore. Baltimore Ravens are resting their starters. So it just depends. Huntley is a good quarterback. I do like him as a backup. But most of their starters will not be playing this weekend. But I think a more key matchup is the Houston Texans versus Indianapolis Colts. And I know we did not talk about Coach of the Year, but if some way, somehow, the Jacksonville Jaguars do lose to the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, and somehow C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans go into Indy and win that game, D'Amico Ryans will be my Coach of the Year. For them to go from a 3-win to a team that was supposed to be in a rebuild to win their division and be able to host a playoff game, yes, he definitely deserves to be Coach of the Year. Definitely deserves it.
I like D'Amico Ryans, right? And that still is my Coach of the Year. But I'm looking at Kevin Stefanski for the Browns, man. The most injured roster in the NFL, 4 different starting quarterbacks this year, and he still found a way to win 11 games. That's insane. That's what I will say. So I think D'Amico will, if they can make the playoffs, they'll possibly be in that Coach of the Year conversation, and he should win it. But if they don't make it, I think more than likely Kevin Stefanski might win it.
Okay. I know my guy Quan. He loves our quarterback, but he's been letting people know C.J. Stroud is that guy. So I definitely know he's definitely rooting for Stroud. You know, the Rookie of the Year, definitely. There's no questions asked. I know you got how do you say the Rams wide receiver?
You got Puka Nacua.
Yeah, Puka Nacua. But if C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans make the playoffs, it's C.J. Stroud. Even with him missing, I think was it up to 2 or 3 games with that concussion, he's definitely going to be the Rookie of the Year. CJ or Quan, did y'all have another game in mind that you fellas had circle on Week 18?
You beat me to it with the Texans game, and AJ beat me to it with Kevin Stefanski with the Browns. I was gonna say both of those because, like you're saying, the job he's done, he brought Joe Flacco off the couch, you know, and he's out there winning games. The defense is looking strong. So, like you said, if you know, I'll be happy with either one of them. But also going back to CJ Stroud, and like you saying with Quan, I'm rooting for Stroud too. Now, mind you, you know, on our channel, we wanted them to draft CJ Stroud when last year when the draft was going on. But you know, it doesn't mean it still can't root for him just because he's not our quarterback.
Correct.
You know, I do wish, you know, good things for him. But that would be one crazy turnaround for them. And you know, but also you got to give to me. Now, this ain't nothing for like Coach of the Year or anything, but I give shout out to you know, what Gardner Minshew is doing with the Colts. You know, because they had Anthony Richardson and he went down, and now what he's been able to do, you know, they still in the playoff hunt. So, you know, I'll give them, because they still can win the division, right? Either one of them, the Colts and the Texans.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Either one.
gotcha. Yeah, But yeah, man, I just I'm looking forward to just a good week. Week 18. It would really be a better game if Miami wasn't as banged up as it was that we talked about earlier. That probably be a shootout. I would dare to say. But yeah, the close games. I just want to see some good football.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that.
I will say, man, some games I'm looking forward to. It's some really good games all around. I mean, obviously you got a couple of obviously all of them are all division games. Usually one of the best times of the year when teams are trying to get into the playoffs, and you got sorry teams trying to knock guys off. But real quick, I mean, obviously I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off of CJ with the Houston Texans. I mean, they had a hell of a turnaround this year. CJ Stroud is balling out his mind. I mean, y'all already alluded to him missing a couple of games, and he's still being able to step back into that role and get Houston a win in the previous game. CJ Stroud definitely should be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. Obviously, should be a candidate. I think he could win it, but I mean, you also mentioned Puka Nacua. He's definitely deserving as well. So I don't know, man. I was another advocate for CJ Stroud. Man, I was a strong advocate for CJ Stroud when I was watching him in Ohio State, and I thought we had a chance to, get a quarterback. And everybody was doubting him, saying like, "Oh, Ohio State quarterbacks won't succeed." And, I'm trying to point out the film to everybody. So I was big on CJ, but I mean, besides the fact, man, I'm just a big fan of him. So I'm hoping they succeed, especially having that immediate success in year one. I hope they definitely get in the playoffs. So that'll be a game I'm keeping my eye on. Another one though, I can't stand neither of these teams, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Falcons and the Saints. That should actually be a battle. I mean, usually when they play each other, it's usually a pretty entertaining game, historically speaking. But this weekend, I mean, obviously both teams are trying to play for the division. I don't think the Panthers gonna do their job and knock the Bucks off, but I think that game will still be interesting to watch. Um, I don't know, man. I'm definitely looking forward to that game, and then of course a couple of games around the league, like another one, Green Bay and Chicago Bears. That
Correct.
should be another good one. I think Jordan Love has been balling out of his mind. He looked comfortable in that system. This is the team that's putting up like 30 a game. Whenever I look up and see their screens, so I'm looking forward to that game as well. I mean, Justin Fields is obviously another one that's been getting a little bit more comfortable in that scheme. I got DJ Moore over there balling, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Hey, Doug, I was going to say, do you think there is any way the
Nope.
Panthers could put
Nope.
it together
I'm
one
done.
game?
Look,
You say you're done.
Let me say this real quick. Let me shout out Mama Duke. She is in the chat. She talking about hand waving. I will literally say thank you for pulling up, Mama Dukes. We're almost done. No, I've been checked out. When Quan did a live when I think it was Tennessee Titans, and I physically told the crowd, I'm done. I've checked out. I enjoyed going to the Saints game. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the vibes. I enjoyed my cousin being able to go with him being a Saints fan, but I've mentally checked out. And with everything going on now, I just want this to be over with. I don't know
I feel
what
you.
we're about to. I mean, I don't know what we're about to go into with the offseason. David Temper again, like we said earlier in the show, he cannot get out the way. I was telling people, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's saying that he was the problem. That was all fraudulent. It wasn't really sincere. And what I think now is mentally, I just checked out. Bought jerseys. I'm telling people, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Quan was one of the people saying, Doug, we got to take it one step at a time. This is not a quick fix. And a lot of other people are saying it's not a quick fix. But I will say this, closing it out. What I have to say, Bryce Young is not your problem. We have bigger problems than Bryce Young. Bryce Young has shown you that he can stay and be a quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Yes, he is a rookie. Yes, he's made boneheaded decisions at times. But Bryce Young is our future. And if we can get our owner out and we can get the right brain trust in there, female or male, and get the right coaches in there, it won't be long. And I know that's sad to say because we've been saying that for years. It won't be long. But I'm a Panther through and through, but mentally I've checked out. I can care less if we win. I mean, what is a win really going to do? It doesn't stop the Chicago Bears from getting number 1 seed.
True.
So
True.
I mentally have checked out, man.
Well, for me, I would really love for them to put it together and play not necessarily spoiler. Well, they could play spoiler for the Bucks, you know.
I mean,
and because they're all 1 o'clock games, right? Both of those games.
Here, I'm gonna look it back up. I can pull it back.
They
up.
are. I think they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're all 1 o'clock game.
Yes,
but yeah,
sir.
but I would love for them to play spoiler. Just last game of the season. It would be nice to see our entire team, offense, defense, and special teams, show up at the exact same time and play like they know how to play professional football. That would be it for me. I do want to see that once this year. And you know how our fan base is just divided, just completely divided. Can you imagine what's going to go down if CJ Stroud makes the playoffs? Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
already.
Oh my God. It's
We're
going
not
to
gonna
be
hit
a
that, man.
mess.
All right,
Yo.
let me say this real quick because Mama Deuce is saying a win is still a shine. You missed a segment of us talking about your Eagles, so that's all I'm gonna say. And I know she gonna call me and be like, "No, you did not." So don't just worry about your Eagles and let us Carolinians worry about our Panthers because y'all gonna be sitting at home right along with us. But like I
She
said,
gonna get
I'm
you.
glad the season is over with. Me personally, I was not able to meet CJ and Tony for Two Fans in a Stand. Quan was able to, and Quan relayed a message that you guys, relayed to me. This year for me has been about networking. And I'm so grateful of the platforms that have invited me to their platform and also ones that have wanted to come over here. What's up, Doug? Demetrius, I've never been able to meet in person. Definitely was able to talk to him on the phone. AJ, who is now part AJ that I was able to meet from via one of our JPG members, but also one of my mods, Derek B, told me to reach out and watch some of his content. And AJ said that he will love to be a co-host now on What's Up, Doug. So, 2024, we're here. We already started out with a bang with the 5-panel, but I cannot exclude without talking about my brother Quan. Just open arms from both of us, meeting him, going back to football in Spartanburg, and we just hit it off from there, man. Been able to go to 2 games with Quan, able to see the Mallard Creek Chargers, just vibe with him, spend time with him. And like I said, me and him already are trying to, we haven't talked recently about it, but I know in the summer, we definitely have something that I think a lot of people are going to want to stay tuned for when it comes to training camp. So I just want to tell you fellas that are still here, and hopefully Demetrius will be able to run back the end part, that I appreciate everyone that has been able to come on this journey with us in 2023. Now we're in 2024. We're on the bigger and better things, man. And I definitely told CJ when we were behind the panel before we went live, if you guys have not headed over to Two Fans in the Stands, you are missing out. His co-host Tony is in a different time zone right now, but these gentlemen definitely are on that journey to 1,000. And we, as Panthers fans, people that are not Panthers fans, hey, CJ, if you can, go ahead and drop your link in the chat. If you can, go ahead and head over there and hit that subscribe button for CJ and Tony, man. They're on the same journey that Quan was on, the same journey myself were on to get to 1,000. And I know the work that they do and the time that they put in. And I definitely want to see them get accolades for the hard work that they have put in time and time and over this upcoming year for them as well, man.
Hey, Doug.
Go ahead.
So I want to add on to all the good things that you said about us to some good things about you, because you have definitely helped us out and definitely have helped me out. those of y'all didn't know, I had brain surgery a few months ago, and I was out for about 2 months. And
Yes, sir.
Doug stepped up and came in and helped my cousin, my co-host, out, while I was absent. So all the good things you say about us, Doug, I got to mention that and say those things back about you. You are a great person. I appreciate everything that you have done, and I look forward to everything that we can do together this year too.
Yes, sir. I'm not going to break it because we haven't met, but stay tuned for Quan, CJ, Tony, and myself. We got a segment about to come out. You don't want to miss it. It's not just going to be only on YouTube. We're going to try to make it a podcast as well. So stay tuned from all three of our channels. We will be dropping more information later. But again, it has been a privilege to work with these gentlemen, man. AJ and Quan, you guys got anything?
Man, I ain't got nothing, man. Just hey, good luck to those teams trying to get in the playoffs. Must be nice. Must be nice. And, I guess usually around this time of the year, I just kind of pick a team to watching the playoffs and just kind of low key root for them, man. Since I'm always sitting on the couch with my team, so I guess good luck to the playoff contenders. Other than that, man, I would say keep pounding, but I don't know, man. It's just embarrassing to say that at this point.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, AJ, man.
All right, man. Subscribe to my boy. What's up, Doug? Family over here. Subscribe to Quan. Family too. Two fans in the stand. Once again, I understand we say this a lot, man, but subscribing goes a long way. Trust me, it really does. The guys put in a lot of work for this, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we just like to see y'all support. Don't be one of those people. I caught one of them in the chat that kept asking me the question. He was one of the guys like, "Oh, I just clicked the channel." Hit the subscribe button. It makes it easy. Hit the notification bell as well. I love every single last one of y'all. Like, once again, I hope y'all had a great Christmas, a great New Year's. We got big things coming this year, for sure. And I'm with Quan, man. I'm glad I'm not in them situations, man. Good luck to all them teams trying to make the playoffs. Good luck. Good luck. And I'm glad I'm not on David Tepper's payroll either. Because, I probably would not have a head full of hair right now.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. So this is our first NFL regular season takes for 2023-2024 season. We're definitely gonna do our subscriber giveaway. I'm gonna try to talk with the fellas. I would like to do maybe an hour special on Sunday, wildcard Sunday next week. We will get back with you guys about that. But we meaning What's Up, Doug, have not forgot about our subscribers. Getting us to 1,000, getting us to that 1K. We're trying to get to another K before year 2. So we haven't made it to year 1 yet. Our 1 year anniversary was January 17th of 2023. So we haven't made it to a year yet. So we're going ahead and getting ready to make it a year. And in year 2, we want to hit another K, man. So I definitely appreciate all you ladies, all you gentlemen that have supported us, not supported just myself, but these other gentlemen as well. Everybody stay blessed. Have a good night. We're going to close it out with our 2023 review again. Everybody have a good night.